Yes, mental telepathy is possible. Hi, I'm Rev Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. As I discussed yesterday, it is possible, and it's very important that we as spiritual warriors expand our awareness of what we see and hear and perceive every day. Excuse me, had a distraction there. So, we must come we must come to an unshakable understanding that our minds are much more powerful than we've been conditioned to believe. Yes. One of the truths that's been denied to us is that mental telepathy is impossible. In fact, it's not only possible, it's something we practice on an almost daily basis. Mental telepathy, as most of you already know, is the ability to receive messages mentally, to communicate mentally. And it's a concept that's mostly discounted by so-called experts in the world of physical reality. But mental telepathy is something we all need to be aware of because it's already part of our lives. It's just that we ignore it. We ignore it because we're afraid of it. We ignore it because it doesn't make sense. We ignore it because if we pay attention to it, those around us will tell us that you're crazy. But the reason for all those negative reactions is that we've been convinced that mental telepathy doesn't exist. So I'm asking you, from this point forward in time, please throw that lie out the window. Please click on the thumbs up button, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. And remember, I am inviting and would love to see your comments and thoughts and questions regarding infinite intelligence or anything that's happening in your life spiritually or just anything. Give me a buzz. You can use the chat box on the left or comment section below. Now, one thing naysayers and the mental telepathy deniers all have in common is that they believe we are all separate. They believe that there's no physical connection between one human being and another. They believe that we stand alone with nothing but air in between us. Let me correct that right now. That's a misconception. Because according to science, we're not separated at all. We are living in a vast sea of energy, and we're all one. And within that vast sea of energy, there's an inexhaustible and incredibly expansive sea of thought, a vast sea of thought. Dr. Richard Burke, back in 1901, called it cosmic consciousness. The early Greek philosopher Anaxagoras called it universal mind. And today, we call it infinite intelligence. Now, upon discovering that there's no separation between us at the subatomic level, J.B.S. Haldane said the universe is not only stranger than we can imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine. So it's time for us to open our minds and break through the barriers constructed by those who want to limit us to being powerless units of little controllable minds. We're much, much, much more than that. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence with incredibly more power than we give ourselves credit for being. Universal mind, or cosmic consciousness, or infinite intelligence is constantly flowing with thoughts over, under, around, and through us. Thousands, millions, trillions of thoughts. We literally live in an ocean of thought, like a fish in water. Our minds are like radio receivers within those millions of thoughts, and like a radio, we only pick up the ones that are on our frequency. We only pick up the ones that are relevant to our vibration, the ones that have something to do with us, which is people and things that matter to us, like our families, our friends, our work, our interest. We only pick up the thoughts that have some meaning for us. And on the other hand, We add to the thought ocean by sending out thoughts of our own. We are constantly transmitting thoughts out into the ocean of thoughts because we're always thinking. And contrary to popular belief, our thoughts are not just confined to our brains. They are transmitted out because we are generating each and every moment an electronic field, an electromagnetic field that feeds out into the cosmos, into the energy. Everything we think goes out there. Everything. And that's why when you think about a friend and that friend calls you, it's because when that friend started thinking about you, you received the message. Or vice versa, you may start thinking about a friend of yours and thinking heavily about them, and pretty soon they call you because you caused them to think about you. They received the message and they responded to it. And if there's strong emotion involved between you, like a mother with her son, then the connection is even stronger. Even stronger. As I shared with you yesterday about a mother who could feel that her son was hurt in an accident when it happened. Even though he was hundreds of miles away, she felt it and she reacted to it. But as spiritual warriors, we can use the power of mental telepathy for the good of others. We can help heal others. In 1995, one of the members of the congregation of a church where I was a member called me up in a panic. She had just learned that the doctors had discovered a hole in her colon, and it could be fatal unless they operated right away. So she was to have surgery that next morning. She was scared and wanted help, and she asked me to call my healing group, the healing group that I was head of, to help her out, to send her healing energy. So I did. I called the group, the members of the group, and right away we started our work to heal her, to send her healing energy. So we went into meditation, sent her healing energy through the help of the angels. Healing energy from the group of us who were at home in separate places, but we were bonded because we were all working mentally together to send her healing energy. And what happened the next morning? When the doctors began their surgery, they opened up and they discovered that the hole had healed overnight. It was gone. Studies have shown that patients who are prayed for heal faster than those who are not prayed for. Mental telepathy, sending out thoughts, transmitting thoughts of love and healing are very powerful, and they work. They work. They're not crazy ideas. They actually work. They're a wonderful fact of truth, not a myth, not craziness, not stupidity, not superstition, reality. Mental telepathy works. As I said earlier, our thoughts are always being transmitted out into the world. And one of the things I warn my students about when they're taking my classes, because we're elevating, when the students work with me, they're elevating their consciousness, and their thoughts begin to grow stronger and clearer. And because their thoughts are stronger and clearer, those thoughts have more impact. That's because most people don't have clear thoughts. Most people are thinking all the time in an utterly confused mess of contradictory thoughts. Yes, no, yes, no. Those thoughts are just crashing into each other and canceling each other out. But as you begin working to clear your thoughts and become more focused, your thoughts become stronger. And those strong thoughts go out into the universe. Go out into the universe. Excuse me. And when they do, you'll find that interesting things begin to happen. For example, when you start thinking of doing something like going to the store or going to the bank or going to the Dairy Queen, don't hesitate. The reason is that when your thought goes out into the universe, it affects everybody in your vicinity who might have the same idea in the back of their minds, but it hasn't risen to the surface yet. And when your thought hits them, boom, it energizes their fuzzy thought patterns and triggers them into action. So they will head in that direction as well. So if you act on your thought right away, you're going to get there and notice that a line begins to form behind you. But if you hesitate, if you slow down in your thought, when you get there, you're going to find that a line is formed in front of you when you get there. I invite you to experiment with that. So what I'm saying here is that it is up to us as spiritual warriors to bring change to the world. It's a time of great stress. This is a time of tremendous change, a time where people are really worried and scared. And as we progress through this time, there are lots of doors going to be opening and closing, places to go through, places where just a mess. But anyway, what is going on with all this opening and closing is that the world is changing and eventually it's going to settle down. But where it settles down is where we come in, because peace, harmony, and prosperity is where we need to go. Peace, harmony, and prosperity is our eventual goal. But we can only attain those if enough people are able to resist fear and panic, greed and anger, and go to a softer, calmer place. It's incumbent upon us as spiritual warriors to rise to a level where we can, through the energy of our presence and the power of our thoughts, help bring about a state of well-being for those around us. Remember, I told you, our thoughts are going out all the time. And so if we can be at peace, if we can be calm, those around us are going to feel the peace and calm, and they are going to settle down. And when they begin to settle down, those around them will begin to settle down. Does that make sense? So we understand the nature and power and how to use our thoughts, then we are going to be very powerful and beneficial beings existing on the earth. And we need to be that as spiritual warriors. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about how we can use our mental telepathy to generate thoughts that beneficially influence those around us. How we can calm the world around us, person by person by person, and make a change that is significant. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. In the meantime, let's close with prayer. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence. Thank you for bringing us all together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors, enjoying together in the work that we have come here to do. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and Infinite Intelligence. We really are. We open our minds and our hearts. And as we continue to grow within Infinite Intelligence, understanding our connection to the universe and the continuity of life on this planet, we become stronger. And as we become the channels of your power, Infinite Intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more and more each day. We know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise. We will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connections through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain that we have caused ourselves, and as we learn to forgive others for the pain that they have inflicted upon us, our connection will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and prosperous, more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As within, so without. As within, so without. As within, so without. As above, so below. And so it is. Amen. Please click on the thumbs up button. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Remember, I welcome your comments, your questions, your thoughts, use the chat box on the left or the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, thank you. I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind.